forming up for the parade of teams. Joining me, as usual, Mr. Neil Gill. Neil, how are you doing?
Good morning, Mr. Jules. How are you? I am thankful. And it's a wonderful day here at the Usain Bolt Complex. It is the Chef Foods NAPSACbb 2026.
Oh, yes.
And it's a privilege to be here this morning to see these proceedings for today.
Yeah. So, as you heard, we have today the Holiday Bermudez James Wedderburn Zone, just to give you the schools competing. Christchurch Girls, who are the defending girls champions. St. Christopher, who are the defending boys champions. Roland Edwards, St. Giles, St. Ambrose, St. Stephen's, St. Lucy, St. Matthews, Ignatius Bayer, People's Cathedral, and St. Luke's Academy. 11 schools. They'll be vying for top honors, and of course we'll be keeping our eyes on Christchurch Girls and the St. Christopher Boys team.
The defending champions in both these areas. And here on the screen we can see the St. Giles Conquerors, the COB. St. Giles Conquerors, and we are having them here on the screen as they come towards the presentation. The opening ceremony here will be held momentarily.
And we can tell you, for those of you who missed all of the action last week, we began on Monday the 16th with the Pedialyte Marcia Trotman Zone, where we saw St. George Primary emerging as the girls' champions and Charles F. Broome as the boys' champions.
Then we had the Nation Publishing, the Patsy Calendar Zone, and the victorious team were the West Terrace team, and the boys, they did the double West Terrace, both in the girls and the boys.
Yeah, so only one team this year so far was able to do the double. Of course, we have a long way to go. We still have 5 days of competition coming up. So on Wednesday, the 18th, it was the turn of the Pediashore Anton Norris Zone, where the All Saints Primary Girls, they ended up being victorious, and Renal Weeks Boys. So I believe, Neil, that we can look forward to 5 days of excitement as things begin to unfold. We will join the opening ceremony and the national anthem of Barbados.
Kindly remain standing as we ask Mr. Hamilton Harper to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let us pray. Our gracious and heavenly Father, we come to you this day in the precious and wonderful name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Father, we want to give you praise and thanks for this new week. We want to give you praise and thanks for this day, for this is a day that the Lord have made. You have brought us safely through last week. And as we come into this new week, we ask, oh God, for your divine guidance. I pray, oh God, that you will bless every aspect of this competition. Create a hedge around everything that will be done, that no harm and danger shall come. I pray, oh God, that you would touch the competitive ones. Quitting is not an option. But may you purpose within yourself that I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me. Father, into your hand we commit everything. And we give you praise and thanks for what you are about to do. And we declare that this day shall be a successful day. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. You may be seated, everyone. Once again, I would like to welcome everyone to the Holiday Bermuda's James Wedderburn Zone. As you know, sponsorship is extremely important in order to be able to execute these championships. And I am honored to have with us this morning the brand manager for the imported brands at Wabisco, Miss Ingrid Sobers-Marshall, to bring brief remarks on behalf of the sponsor.
Good morning, all. I want to say a special good morning to the athletes, the teachers, the parents, the media, the NAPSACbb officials, Mr. Wedderburn, spectators, and all other parties involved in this spectacular event. The brands Holiday, Bermudez, and Saldanza, under the Wabisco umbrella, is proud to sponsor the James Wedderburn Zone once again. Wabisco is a strong support in events and activities involving and geared towards the youth as they are the future of tomorrow. Wabisco have been involved in NAPSACbb over 17 years. We are providing breakfast for the athletes. We are sampling to the other products of the athletes and the spectators alike. Over the last 6 years, we made the decision to have a deeper involvement by sponsoring the different zones, as we want to make a greater impact to help NAPSACbb continue to be the success that it is. To the organizers, the committee, the volunteers of NAPSACbb, we recognize your efforts, your vision, and are proud to be involved. To my fellow sponsors, let us continue these great works so we can help our youth advance and excel despite the many obstacles in their way. To the athletes, your best is good enough. Let us go out there today and do your best. And most importantly, have fun whilst doing it. I wish you all every success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sobers-Marshall, and for your continued support of these championships. Up next, we ask Amika Price of the St. Christopher Primary to lead in the athlete's oath.
In the name of all competitors, I promise that we shall take part in the 2026 Sheffield National Primary Schools Athletic Championship, respecting and abiding the rules which govern them, in the true spirit of sportsmanship, for the glory of all sport and the honor of all teams. Thank you.
Well done, Amika. And to lead us in the officials' oath this morning is Miss Shannon Carter of the George Lamin Primary School and our track referee.
Good morning, everyone. In the name of all the judges and officials, I promise that we shall officiate in the 2026 Sheffield National Primary Schools Athletic Championship with complete impartiality, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern them in the true spirit of sportsmanship for the glory of sport and the honor of all teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. And we move swiftly along to brief remarks from the gentleman that this zone is named after. I think everyone can attest to the fact that he is one of the persons within our sporting landscape that should be treasured, as he was the first person to basically gain an Olympic medal for Barbados. And for that, he will ever go down in history. I bring to you Mr. James Wedderburn to bring brief remarks, and then he will declare the games for this morning's session open.
Good morning. Miss Denny. No, I'm good. I'm good. I got it. Yeah. Yeah. Miss Sobers, Marshall, distinguished guests, parents, and athletes. Once again, I'm honored to say a few words of encouragement to the athletes. This promises to be a keenly contested meet, and so I advise you, never give up. Give up your best through to the finish line. You have trained hard. Now stay focused and do your best. Remember, if you think you will lose before you start, you will lose. Success begins with your will to win. And you can win by coming first or by running faster than you have done before. Think like a winner and don't give up, or slow down until you have crossed the finish line. Remember, this is the Wedderburn Zone, and here we always give of our best. I wish you all good luck. Now it gives me pleasure to declare this zone meet open.
Thank you, Mr. Wedderburn. Athletes, let the games begin. Good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So when you cue me, and I'll go from there. Back to our live coverage of Sheffield's Knapsack 2026. We're going to give you the opportunity for those who missed out on Wednesday's competition, some of the action from the Pediasure Anton Norris zone. We can see here some action in the sprints. Of course, All Saints Primary, Neil, were the girls' champions. We had some outstanding performances from those girls from the All Saints Primary. Another one here contesting the high jump. And do enjoy some of the action from that Anton Norris zone held on Wednesday.
Yeah, so it was a good competition. Remember seeing teams like the Hillary Turner's Hall and so on there. They did very well. I think they finished second in their zone.
And of course, the support from the All Saints posse, Harris Paints All Saints. Yes.
Yes, and
so,
really had a good time.
of course, we expect that the action will continue. Action here at Knapsack, unlike none other.
That's correct, and it's always very good to have to highlight the young people, they showcase their talents, and we know everyone isn't the academic, and with when we have the athletes, and we must highlight these young people as they develop from the under 7s to the under 13s, and going beyond Knapsack.
And talking about development, of course, we have said each day how important our sponsors are, and 4 of these teams, actually 3 of these teams, they have sponsors on board. Of course, COB, they've been sponsors of the St. Giles Conquerors for a while. Sandals have been the sponsors for the Christchurch Girls Green Machines, so we'll be referring to them from time to time. The COB St. Giles Conquerors, the Sandals Christchurch Girls Green Machines, and coming on board to sponsor St. Ambrose Primary. They actually have 3 sponsors, Neil.
Yes, we have the Empire Club, Mango Bay, and the Deontay Exquisite Lighting.
Oh, yes.
St. Ambrose Primary is
Yes.
a bit of a mouthful, but we thank the sponsors here, Empire Club, Mango Bay, and Deontay Exquisite Lighting, for coming on board to sponsor the St. Ambrose Primary team. And, if any of the other corporate houses out there, you're hearing businesses are hearing us out here, you can also support the school in your community.
What we have noticed over the years is how we have advanced from children competing in their PE kits to where they're actually in a specified running outfit. If we look at, for example, the Sandals Christchurch Girls Green Machines present here, we can see that they are decked out, some of them in the tights, short tights. Of course, that movement started with Charles F. Broom Primary back in the day when those boys came out in their bodysuits.
Yes, remember that.
I think that was the real start of seeing more teams.
And then West Terrace went into that.
The Tigers, yes, for sure. So, it's always good when corporate Barbados can step on board, even old scholars.
Yes.
What primary school did you go to, Neil?
Well, I went to Erdiston Primary.
Oh my!
No, we don't have the Erdiston Primary anymore. They merged with Carrington's Primary and Erdiston. So I saw the George Lamming.
Now George Lamming.
George Lamming.
Okay, so we're getting ready for action. Our first event on the track will be the Girls Open 600 meters. There are 2 time finals, and again, just to remind our viewers that there will be 2 sections. Because an athlete wins the section does not mean that they're the overall winner. We have to await the final result of both sections. So we have coming up the girls 600 meters. In this first section, Gabrielle Reed of the People's Cathedral, Lachey Grace of St. Christopher, Aria Atkinson of St. Giles. From Roland Edwards, Nyla Theodore, Rakaya Husbands of St. Lucy, Janaya Blackman, St. Stephen's, Christiana Rock of St. Stephen's, Natalia Holder of St. Giles, Jakayla Archer, Christchurch Girls, Nyasha Hines, Ignatius Bayer, Aisha Davis, St. Matthews, Zafira Hanif of St. Christopher, Gia Joseph of St. Ambrose, and Dominic Thompson of Christchurch Girls. And again, to remind folks that you will be seeing 3 athletes from a school. This is the rule for the 600 and the 800 meters. Entries can be 3 for these 2 events. All the others, only 2 competitors are allowed.
A name coming, just popped up there to me. That's Christiana Rock of St. Stephen's. I think that's the Rocks from St. Stephen's are usually very good athletes over the years. And this young lady, if I'm not wrong, I think she ran the same event last year. So we're going to see how this young lady, this Christiana Rock of St. Stephen's, how she will do. She's athlete 5557 with the bib number, and she's right there next to her teammate, athlete 5538, and she is Janaya Blackman.
And just to remind our viewers of the record here, 1 minute 48.97 seconds, established in 2020 by Destiny Howard of Renal Weeks Primary. That's a good time, 148. Anytime you have these girls running under 150 in the 600 meters, it's a decent time. So they're off, and I can see there the competitor from St. Giles going out there. That's Natalia Holder. She is the front runner. Just 50 meters gone so far. Remember, this is 1.5 laps around the track for these young ladies. And tracking her nicely there is your girl, Christiana Rock, who now goes into the lead looking very, very serious and focused. Christiana Rock. So 1 lap to go. We keep our eyes on the clock. As you can see here on your right, the clock is up and running. And one of the members of the committee will be here a little later to talk to us about that clock and its development. But heading down the backstretch, all alone, Christiana Rock of St. Stephen's. Now, Neil, she has to set a good time.
Yes.
Because remember, there's a next section coming up. Those young ladies, they're waiting their turn. As we can see, the duo from Christchurch Girls, Archer and Thompson, they're giving chase. And it's all about time.
Yes, all about time. And you know, it looks as though the Christchurch Girls, they're running
with a plan. Yes. They definitely have a plan.
They're chasing young Christiana Rock of St. Stephen's Primary. They're closing the gap with every stride.
Strategic running here by these young ladies. The Sandals Christchurch Girls Green Machines. One of the machines has really drove.
She's
my,
really strong.
That's Thompson.
Yes, Dominic Thompson of Christchurch Girls. This is a really good performance. We're going to want to keep our eyes on the clock. It's a little, it's not going to be a record-breaking time, but it is a very spirited run here by Dominic Thompson. Oh, look at her go. She will win the first of these 2-time finals, 158.33. Christiana Rock of St. Stephen's is second, and third was
Jaquela Archer
of Christchurch Girls.
Yeah, so that was a great run from Dominique Thompson of Christchurch Girls. She didn't bother herself with going out too hard. She just bought her time and waited patiently. Heading down the backstretch, she started to make her move, and a very strategic run from those young ladies from the Sandals Christchurch Girls Green Machines. So they'll finish in first and third. Now remember,
the girls champions for 2025.
Yes.
So they will be looking at those points early on.
And they have one more coming in the next section as well. So we're going to keep our eyes on those 3. Just waiting on the times here.
It looks like 202.90 for Rock.
202.97.
Yes, and 207.12 for Archer of Christchurch Girls. I think Rock went out a bit too hard there, and she probably could have, the distance she had, she could have caught her breath. And I guess this is all part of development. She will learn as she goes on into the next year when she goes into the second.
So as we can see, the clock is up and working. Our top 3 for the girls 600 meters. So those are the 3 times we'll be looking at them, 1:58:33. If anyone in this next section coming up can go better, this is just a replay of that one. We saw the young lady from St. Giles going out rather quickly.
Yeah, I think this is where Rock lost the race. She wanted to be on the pace, but yeah, she could have let the girl from St. Giles go on.
and again, you know, they will learn strategy as they develop in the sport.
Yes.
We find with these younger age groups, they just want to run.
Yes.
Yes. So over time, strategy is going to be very important. And again, we want to thank Pedialyte and Pediasure, pharmacy sales rather, for making sure these athletes are hydrated at the end. Our second section, ready to go. Mayors of St. Lucie, Map of St. Stephen's, one more from St. Stephen's in here, Amelia Bailey of St. Matthew's, and going out there is Courtney Holder Price of St. Christopher Primary.
Yes, we have 2 athletes who've just gone down there. The camera didn't pick them up, but
our leader here is Azalea Spanks of Roland Edwards as they turn to come into the straightaway for the first time. Courtney Holder Price of St. Christopher is in second position. So we're going to keep our eyes here on the leader here, Azalea Spanks of Roland Edwards, 32 seconds on the clock as she approaches 1 lap to go. So that's about 37 seconds for that first 200 meters. That is quick for her. Yeah, so I assume that pace is going to slow down a bit. Yes, we can see her blowing there. Mouth open, gasping for some air. And her teammate is trying to get into the action. That's Deanna Miller from Roland Edwards, now moving up. There she goes into second. Nice strides from Miller. So those 2, the duo from Roland Edwards getting into the picture. Now Roland Edwards placed second in the girls last year.
85 points was the difference between them last year, so they want to keep close.
So let's see if they can work as a pair here. Just pull each other along. So that's Spanks, Azalea Spanks.
But here comes young
and Miller.
Serena Green of Christchurch Girls. She wants to be
the spoiler.
Wants to throw the spoiler in here.
Oh, yes,
she has them in her sights. I think she fell a little earlier. The camera didn't pick up that one. But here, the 2 young ladies from the Roland Edwards team, they're fighting tooth and nail, trying to secure some points here. 1:47 is already on the clock as they come to the top of the lane. And
trying hard to stay in there for that 1-2.
Yes, and you can see
Green of the Green Machines. There we go. A little
strategy.
tussle there.
Yes, that's a good strategy.
Oh my, she's giving up, but not that Green Machine.
Yes.
That Green Machine is going to hold on for the win. So another victory for the Christchurch girls. That's 2:08:22.
Yes.
So 2:08:22, the winning time. Not as fast as the first 3.
Yes.
But it is good enough to get her some points there.
2:08:22 was the flash time.
So again, folks, we just saw a case. I think by now our viewers have got the picture.
Yeah.
Spanks was second.
2:08:50. And Gittins 2:10:90. So those are the top 3 in this second of the time finals, where we can say that Dominique Thompson of Christchurch Girls, she was first in that 1:58:33 time. Second in 2:02 was Christiana Rock. Yeah, she ran the second.
2:07:12 and 2:07:97. Those would be our second and third best times.
So we still have here where we see on screen.
That's Serena Green of the. And here's the replay. Maybe we'll get to see what happened here.
There.
Oh, yes. There we go.
And
2 of them. So
Green
the St. Giles and
yes.
But as you say, she did really well to
recover from there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so, yes, maybe. She had a good strategy in the end. She didn't force her way. No, some people, if they had fallen there, would have got up and now tried to sprint to get back to the lead. But she sat off and she took her time, got back into the race, and was able to be victorious at the end of it all.
So 10 points going to the Christchurch girls, thanks to Dominique Thompson, the winner of that first section. Christchurch girls will finish up in second. So that's 18 points off the bat for Christchurch girls, and they'll probably get some more points too further down the field. Remember, points are 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So kudos to the Christchurch girls, the Sandals Green Machines, off to a brilliant start.
Yes, and now we move on to the 800 meters. This is for the boys, and they're going here. They're two-time finals here, and they're chasing a time of 2:32.98, set by Shaquan Seeley of Sharon Primary, and that was back in 2011. So that's about 15 years, Michael, and we're looking to see if these young men coming up will get very close to that time of 2:32.98.
That's also a really good time for a primary school boy.
Going 800 meters. And as we see here, we have representing Roland Edwards, Delroy Richards. From St. Matthews, Shaquille Dyer. Ethan Edwards represents Ignatius Bayer. From St. Matthews, Caden McTaggart. From People's Cathedral, Nazri Batiste. Josiah Brown represents St. Stephen's Primary. The second entry for Roland Edwards is Romario Cullimore. Then Javario Payne of the St. Giles Primary. Then also coming up there, we can see from St. Christopher Primary, Rosano Denny Brathwaite. Also from People's Cathedral, Taj Conliffe. And from St. Lucie Primary, Malik Newsom Hinkson. And they're off and running.
Yes, 2 laps around the track for these youngsters. We have an 8-year-old contesting this one. Normally, as we say, this is an open event, so we'll probably find more of the Class 4s in this one.
But this young man, so showing Caden McTaggart from St. Matthews.
We'll see how he will fare in this field. But our leader seems to be from St. Stephen's
Primary. That's Josiah Brown.
Brown. Okay. I believe this Brown, you're familiar with his father.
Yes, his father.
Yes.
Yes.
So he's looking really good, nice and relaxed there. Right behind him is Batiste of the People's Cathedral. So those two in first and second position not seem to be too bothered at this time, going exactly the way an 800 meter should run.
Yeah.
Just take it nice and easy and wait until the second lap before you start to make a move.
Batiste looks very easy as well. He's just pulling his way to the lead.
So we're going to watch the time for the first 400 meters.
Remember, they're chasing that time of 2:32.98. And let's see what a flash time will be for the first 400 meters. Looks like about...
Okay, just about 118.
118, yes.
They'll have to go faster than that in the second lap, probably to do almost a negative split in order to get back there at that kind of time. I don't believe this will be a record-breaking run, but People's Cathedral definitely will be hoping to secure some points in here. Last year, the boys, they had 23 points. So remember, a win is 10 points. That will be almost half of those points already.
Yes, but this young man, Batiste, he has about, 20 meters lead on young Brown of the St. Stephen's team. And coming through, representing St. Christopher Primary, Rosanna Denny Brathwaite. He's in third with just about 150 meters. Now pumping his arms. That's young Nazri Batiste of People's Cathedral. But here comes Josiah Brown of St. Stephen's. He has him in sight. Just about 100 meters to go, and there's a battle going on now for third.
I see, and that's one challenging.
Yes, this is Rosanna Denny Brathwaite of St. Christopher Primary. He has him in his sights. Here comes Brown. That's Josiah Brown of the St. Stephen's Primary coming home, storming home. He would take the first flight. He wins it now. That's 2:47.84. It looks like the flash time. Second went to Rosano Denny Brathwaite of St. Christopher Primary. And third, our early leader, Nasri Batiste of People's Cathedral, 2:47.84.
And you know, it's important that we stress to the athletes, you must finish strong. Instead of fading, as we saw Batiste of People's Cathedral, he was looking good earlier, but he started to fade. You always have to save something for that finish. You must finish strong.
2:47.90, 2:50.40, and 2:50.80. Those were the times, the flash times, which were recorded. As we could see the replay here, early on Batiste and Brown in the early exchanges. And there's another good calculated run by young Brown. He didn't panic here, where Batiste had a good distance on him, about 20 meters or so. But then, as we said, he finished strong. It was 110 meters, and then coming down the straightaway, it was all form again. It took him to the wire, and Josiah Brown of the St. Stephen's team being victorious in the 8 of these 800 finals.
Oh, yes. So, one more to go. 800 meters, boys, coming up. This is our second section. So, Neil, let's go through this section. Pretty soon we'll be able to speak to a representative of our sponsors for this event. Wabisco, of course, this meet the Holiday Bermudez James Wedderburn Zone. So, gonna stand by for that interview with Miss Ingrid Sobers Marshall.
Yes, and I'm very thankful for our sponsors coming on board. Here's the second of these two-time finals in the 800 meters. 2:32.98, chasing that time, will be from St. Christopher Primary, Kimani Williams. Also, Jerome Maskell of St. Matthew's Primary. St. Stephen's Primary will be represented by Shamar Lovell. Hakeem Price of People's Cathedral, he's in there. Nazari Paris of St. Giles Primary is also in there. Yes, he is. Damir Antoine Cummins of St. Stephen's Primary. Remember, each school can have 3 athletes in the race overall. And we have from St. Christopher Primary, Idris Price, representing St. Giles Primary again, Arico Clinton. Joel Mayers of St. Ambrose Primary is in there. Then Kamari Robinson of Roland Edwards Primary. Dimitri Cadogan of St. Lucie Primary. And on his outside would be his colleague Emmanuel Nichols. And they're off and running.
Oh, yes, our second section. So remember, Neil, these guys are looking to go better than 2:47.90, the time posted in that first section.
Kamari Robinson, he's out early from Roland Edwards Primary. And he's chased by the 2 young men from COB St. Giles Conquerors. The Conquerors in second and third.
And I really need these Conquerors to conquer because this is my alma mater.
This is your alma mater.
Yes, I'm a St. Giles boy. Very proud St. Giles boy.
Of course you are. And
so this is Robinson of Roland Edwards. He's looking good. And look at the build of this young man. He has a perfect build for 800-meter running.
Yes, he's and he looks comfortable. And
oh, yes.
Again, we see the distance guys there, the ones running barefooted.
Well, you know, there's a facility available for the athletes to get shoes if they so desire. Yes. However, as we have spoken about, not everyone likes to run in track shoes.
Yes,
He might be very comfortable barefooted, but I know he's going to be challenged here. 1 lap to go. As you can see him slowing a bit.
Stride begins to shorten.
Yes, he went out a little too hard there. 1:21 on the clock now with 400 meters to go.
And he's chased there by one of the young men there from St. Stephen's Primary. Just let's get his bib number, 55.68. That is Damir
Antoine Cummins. So he now moves into the lead. Kimani Williams of St. Christopher in the action. Remember, St. Christopher boys are the defending boys champions, so they have a lot at stake here. Heading down the back stretch for the final time is Williams of St. Christopher. He's chased by Antoine Cummins of St. Stephen's. Still in the mix though is Robinson of Roland Edwards.
Oh, but Williams looks very strong and easy. He doesn't seem to be blowing very hard, or he seems to be comfortable. He has just about 150 meters to go. Antoine Cummins is not going to let him out of his sights. This should be a pretty good finish.
Oh yes.
Yes, just about 100 meters to go. Oh, he allowed him on the inside.
On the inside, yeah, that's you don't pass on the inside at all.
Yes, you would have to work for it. Not coming through on the inside. And here he goes now. He's just trying to drift out a bit so that if anyone is going to come.
And fighting hard here, Shamar Lovell of St. Stephen's. He's fighting again, coming through on the inside.
Yes.
So we will have our winner from the St. Stephen's Primary, Damir Antoine Cummins. The flash time there, 2:45.16. And if that holds, that will be the fastest time of those two sections.
And his teammate came through as well.
Oh, yes.
Shamar Lovell.
And that too will give him a second place.
2:45.80.
So that will be double points for St. Stephen's.
Early o'clock.
St. Stephen's Primary, those boys were third last year.
And Michael, if you look at that, it was only about 5 points. 5 points was the difference between St. Giles and St. Stephen's last year, the boys.
Yes, I believe they will be battling. They will be battling there.
Yes.
So that's a decent time, though. 2:45, average time that we expect. Primary school boy should be running in the 800 meters, anywhere in the region of 240, 245. Anything below 240 is really good.
Really good.
Yes. So, over the years, we've seen the lads who have run under 240, the likes of Rivaldo Leacock. Yes, who was running 232 or so. If you're in that region. There was a young man who was from St. Stephen's as well. He was a football, and I think he went towards the football route. And he's still playing football. The name, I'll get you the name before the end of the day, but he was part of that team from St. Stephen's during Rivaldo Leacock's time.
Yes, that was
and there were some outstanding 400, 800 meter runners. So, Neil, I'm going to ask you to excuse yourself for a few moments.
I have no problem at all giving way to Mrs. Ingrid Sobers Marshall. I've known her for a while, and she's a very, very good lady here.
Yes, so as we've said over and over again, it's necessary to have our sponsors on board this morning. Of course, you know that the Holiday Bermudez are the sponsors of the James Wedderburn Zone, and I'm very pleased to have Mrs. Ingrid Sobers Marshall, brand manager, imported brands, from Wabisco on board. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Michael. Thank you very much.
How is it going at Wabisco?
It's going great at Wabisco.
Yeah?
Always with some new exciting stuff, and reintroducing and rebranding our flagship brands.
So what are those?
That is the Eclipse. We actually have a new campaign with the Eclipse. Yes, we have a new packaging that is mainly to keep the product fresher for longer. Because we're all about quality and consistency throughout. So that is one of our major new campaigns going on.
Okay, and I should tell you that between Eclipse and Soda Bix, I love Eclipse biscuits.
I love Eclipse biscuits too.
With cheese.
With cheese and butter.
So tell me why Wabisco has chosen to be a consistent supporter of NAPSACbb.
Well, Wabisco is always involved in youth development programs. From the inception, we've always been community-oriented, youth-oriented. We do different sports. We do different events where we aim to help the youth along. Yeah, there are a lot of challenges out there, and we don't want to be a part of the hiccup. So wherever possible, we try our best to help and support, re-energize the youth, so that there's always an opportunity for them to do better and be better.
Oh yes, definitely. And I know from way back, this is what 24 years of NAPSAC,
This is
and
long years.
Wabisco has been on board with us. I remember even in my time as part of the organizing committee, having meetings with personnel from Wabisco.
Nice. I remember back in the day as well. 'Cause I've been there for several years. Yes,
Wow.
quite a bit. I
Yes.
remember the different meetings we would have had and coming up through the different ages. And it was around like I think 6-7 years ago we decided to be more involved because, as I said, we were very youth focused.
Yes.
And so before it was just a case of us serving the breakfast and making sure that even the patrons and the spectators to the NAPSAC event has sampling and has some
Yes.
type of, some type of snack, some type of cracker, snack, cookie, something to maintain them throughout the day. Because once you're at NAPSAC, you don't want to leave. You want to stay here.
Of course.
So then we basically tailor our breakfast section for the athletes because we know a nice heavy breakfast on morning, not too heavy, but a nice breakfast on morning to really get them started on their day. And then what we would have done then is to come a little deeper and start sponsoring the zones.
Yes.
So we sponsor right now today is James Wedderburn Zone, and that is being sponsored by our Holiday Bermudez brands. No, that's the imported brands. I'm the brand manager
yes.
for those. And then on Thursday will be the Wabisco brand.
Yes. Correct. You are correct. I'll tell you, on Thursday, Wabisco Frida Nichols Zone. That's on Wednesday,
correct.
actually. Yes, on Wednesday. Wabisco Frida Nichols Zone. Yes.
Yes, Frida
Okay.
Nichols. That is Our Lady
So
on
you have
Wednesday,
you
yeah.
have two. I don't know if it was purposely done, but however, you
It was purposely done.
chose two outstanding products. James Wedderburn, of course, being the first Barbadian to win an Olympic medal back in 1960. So you're associated definitely with greatness. Frida Nichols, she too competed for Barbados at the Olympic Games back in the day. So
I'm very proud
Yes.
to be a sponsor of the James Wedderburn Zone because I would have sponsored him in a previous life.
Nice.
And then when I came back to Wabisco and I realized that we were sponsoring his zone again, it was a really great feeling to know, yes, I still have Mr. Wedderburn. I plan to
yes.
continue with Mr. Wedderburn
course.
right through until infinity.
and I was commenting how good this guy looks for his age because
Excellent.
he's probably in past 85.
Yes, and he looks really good.
Yes, strong, still driving, still moving around. In 2024, the Barbados Cadet Corps hosted its 120th anniversary, and we were looking for the oldest cadet. He wasn't quite there, but however, we ended up with him, and he said to me, I was a cadet in 1940 something.
Oh.
Yes, and I was like, boy, man, this guy is he looks really good. But you see, I will say this to you, I think persons who were involved in sports, if you put two people, one who was involved with sports and continued to be involved with sport, next to someone who does nothing as far as physical activity is concerned, you will see the difference.
It is true.
You
It
will
is
see the
true.
difference. And so that's why I think events such as NAPSAC and any other sporting activities are important, because it encourages the young people to get involved in some kind of physical activity. The thing is for them to maintain it.
That is right. And it's also important for us, the sponsors, to come on board so we can do our part to make sure that they have the opportunity to excel in these areas that they choose to be a part of.
Yes,
and
for sure.
continue on and have the advantages to go forward in whatever field they choose.
Yes, we have the high jump competition here, the high jump for girls open. Did you compete in any sports while you were at school?
No, please. I was the shy one. I came and I cheered. That was the sport. Yeah, I cheered the loudest.
But it seems you have the body.
Well, I go to the gym now.
Oh.
But I should have been exercising from the time I was at school.
Yes.
See,
Yeah.
so, yeah, the avenue was there, but I did not take it up then.
I
should
see.
have, yes.
Yes, but you're never too late. As I tell everyone, we still have the senior games on, and people can still go and participate.
That is true.
The little ones are getting ready to go. Which one of these events do you like the most?
I like to see the ones with the little kids.
These,
The
so
youngest
this
one,
one.
yeah.
So
They're
so you're
cute.
you're not gonna leave then in a hurry.
No,
you're
I am
you're
not.
gonna join me here and enjoy these on the 7 girls.
Yes, please.
There are 3-time finals in lane 6. Really supposed to be. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so Ramaya Marshall in lane 3. She's representing the COB St. George Conquerors. Next to her, Deja Lane from St. Ambrose. Giving Jones of the Sandals Christchurch Girls Green Machines. She's in 6. In 7, Azealia Small of Roland Edwards. And in lane 8, Nyla Hope Pollard of St. Lucie Primary. Are you able to identify the uniforms as yet?
Not as yet, but I'm working on it. I am able to identify that all of these little kitties have great form. They have wonderful form.
So just 5 going in this first section. The record, 8.91 seconds, established by Samaya Dell of Sharon Primary back in 2012. Are you familiar with that name, Samaya Dell?
No, I am not. Sad but true. But
So-
I'm going to be very familiar with all of these names.
Yeah, so once you keep coming around,
That's right.
you will start to learn some names. If you go right through to the finals, you'll see the ones who are
please.
outstanding. So Samaya Dell, she worked her way from on the 7 right through to on the 13. She was
Wow.
outstanding. She went on to the St. Michael's School. She represented Barbados. Yes, this
And
young
that's
lady here.
exactly what we as corporate Barbados need to do. We need to involve ourselves from the time they're small, so that when they actually grow up and advance, they're still
Yes,
involved in
and
these
and
types
and
of
you
activities.
you then can say, oh, this young lady came from out of my zone.
Yes, right up, right up, right up.
Yes. So these little ones always very
very
eager.
excited.
Yes, always very eager and excited to go. So it's Marshall Lane, Jones Small, and Hope Pollard.
Ooh, look at them start.
Gone again. Looking good here is Jones of the Christchurch Girls. She's being challenged by Hope Pollard of St. Lucie, but Jones.
Jones won.
Yes. So that's a win for the Christchurch Girls. It's just the first one, though. Remember, they have 3 sections. And you, of course, you understand how this goes.
That's
because you win a section does not mean that you win overall. And it's
That is
something we
true.
have to keep impressing upon the parents, because sometimes the parents think, oh, my daughter won, my
Yeah, she
son won,
But
the
it's a
one overall.
holistic- Yeah, it's a holistic accumulation
Yes.
of points.
So that is 10.55 seconds. Here's a replay. And as you said, some pretty good form. Jones crossing the line first, and second went to Hope Pollard of St. Lucie Primary. 11, so that was 10:60 actually is the time that was rounded off to. 11. Just looking to see those times come back up on the screen for us. They move pretty quickly.
Oh. I'll do my part and keep an eye out.
Oh,
for
well,
the
I
time.
thank you. Second section off and running. These are going fast. Well, this young lady from St. Stephen's,
She's
Kiara
up front.
Francis, the winner there. Yeah, she looks serious. She was all business. 10:01, the flash time for Francis. That looks like the fastest so far.
Plot have 9.96.
So we will talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Calendar 10:30. So that's Shatalia Calendar of St. Ambrose, 10.30 for second.
11.16 for Mason.
So 10:01, here's our replay. Young lady from St. Stephen's make business.
That is right. Her
Oh,
form
yes.
was out and she was up front.
So one more section coming up. Martindale was third. That's 10:34. So those are the top 3 from that section. Xavier Martindale of People's Cathedral. Okay. Our third and final section for the under 7 girls. No one yet close to Samaya Dell's record of 8.91. Actually, Francis, 10:01. That's a good try
I think he
at
did.
the record.
I think she did excellent.
Yes. One more section here. Daw from St. Luke's Academy, Sobers of St. Matthew's, Blackett of People's Cathedral. They're off and running. So this one is looking like the Christchurch girls, Naraya Rowe. Yes,
She was
Rowe.
ready from the jump.
Of course she
ready
was.
from the jump.
So Rowe is going to win it. We'll watch the time, 10.11. So what happens? We have Daw in second from St. Luke's Academy, 10:49.
10:50
And
was the third
third
one.
place. Okay. Great. So those are 3 times. So when we look at these 3 now, then we will see which is the fastest of the 3, 10:01. So Kiara Francis of St. Stephen's, she will end up being our overall winner. 10 points for her. The next best time is Rowe of Christchurch Girls. She will finish up in second. She will earn 8 points for her team. And then we will go through and see what was the third best time, which is a 10:30 for Chantalia Calendar of St. Ambrose. She will earn 6 points. So that's how we will go down the
Very
list.
important job, yes.
Yes.
Very. I can see that.
Good. So this
Appreciate you.
this is for our eyes. We use this so that the viewers, they're not going to see the overall 8. But what we can do to assist is to at least tell them who the top 3 are.
Nice.
So these results, however, can be found on NAPSACBB's website.
Repeat that again for the listeners.
Good. So NAPSACbb is where you need to go if you want to get full results. Of course, NAPSAC is on Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook. So once you go there, you can get the full results.
Great stuff.
Yes. So what we are doing is just, of course, let's say this is my daughter here jumping now. I would like to know, or somebody would like to know, at least who is this young lady? What is the height of the bar? This is the kind of information that we are looking, that we try to get as
Correct.
you know.
Because not
and-
every parent can make it out today, so
Correct.
that's a good avenue for them to go and listen while they work.
Exactly. So I'm waiting for the high jump start list. So at least we can follow this event, and when the girls are jumping, we know who the girls are. Neil, I don't know if it's possible for you to also get the height. Yes, the height of the bar. That is also useful because you see the young ladies jumping, but it's like, how high are they jumping?
Correct.
So this competitor from St. Stephen's, who is she? We don't know, but we can find out shortly. Thank you very much.
Hopefully her parent is here or listening.
Exactly. So that's Samaya Khan. Samaya Khan from St. Stephen's. Okay, so she was the competitor. We have one coming up next. It looks like Alexis Reed of St. Lucie Primary here in the high jump. So the high jump record, I'll give you that record in a minute. Let's see how she will do. Okay, a little slow on her approach. Yes, so the St. Lucie primary athletes, you can see all of them have Lucy written at the back of yeah, you can't miss where they're from. So 11 girls competing in this girls open high jump. We still have the long jump competition. Quite a number of events happening simultaneously. 4 different age categories for NAPSAC. Kind of slow run up for her. What we continue to see here with events such as this long jump. All right, back to the high jump. This is Samaya Khan of St. Stephen's, her second attempt. Okay, so what I'll tell you about her jump that needs to be corrected, you will notice that she's jumping very close to the bar on this side. Yes, so for high jump, the competitors, to get a good jump, they should actually be taken off from the center of the bar, and not on either side. If she misses that, her legs will probably hit the upright bar. That will not be a good thing for her. All right, up next is Emily Selman of St. Lucie Primary. There, you're getting it. You better stay here with me. All right, and she cleared.
Her second try as well.
Right, and she got over. Do you know how many tries they get per height?
No, please.
So you're going to learn some things today. Good. So every athlete is given 3 attempts at each height.
Okay.
So let's say the bar starts at 1 meter. Everybody will try first attempt at 1 meter. Those who get over the bar, they will sit and wait. Those who did not, they get the second attempt.
Ooh, yes, yes.
If you didn't get it on your second, you have a third attempt. So 3 attempts at each height. That's why high jump can be forever. It takes a while.
Yes, it takes a while.
Yeah, so imagine if every athlete gets over the bar on their 3rd attempt.
Whoa.
And you have 11 athletes here. So do you know that is about 33 attempts at each height.
Yes.
So that will take a while. Okay. You know what school this is?
I can tell you in one moment.
Go ahead. Oh my, and that's an
Not
easy
St. Luke.
clearance.
You call that name before.
St. Giles.
Yes, St. Giles.
Yes, that's my alma mater.
Ah.
Yes. I didn't see her number. If I get her number, I'll tell you who she is.
5472.
Okay, lovely.
5423.
5423. So that was Janica King,
Nice.
who just cleared, and then we had a young lady there clearing as well. So I'm still trying to get the height of the bar, but these girls are looking good.
They are. I have nice form.
Yes. Do you know the styles of jumping?
No, I do not.
Okay, I tell you, by the end of this day, you will be a track and field guru. Okay, so the bar is now going to 1.10 meters. 1.10 meters.
I thought it would go from 1 to 2 to 3 meters.
No,
to be honest.
it goes up. So it goes up in 5 centimeter increments.
Okay.
Right? So if it started at 1.00 meters, the next height will be 1.05 and then 110, which it is at right now.
Okay.
Okay, so 1.10 meters, and the record is 1.34 meters. Yeah, that's high for these young ladies. Guess who set that record?
St. Giles Primary?
Nope.
St. Luke's? Alrighty. You tell me.
The young lady I told you her name.
Oh my God, from Sharon.
Yes, Samaya Dell. Samaya Dell.
Samaya
Yeah,
Dell.
so these boys are off, getting these little guys going on the 7 boys. Wow. So you see the action has shifted.
Yes.
Yeah, so things are on the way on the 7 boys. And there are 7 competitors remaining in that high jump, so it seems like that is going to be going for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So the boys, on the 7 boys, they are running here. That first section, here's a replay. Lane 5. So that was with, actually, no. That was Brady Boyce. Brady Boyce of Roland Edwards, 10.08. Who was second?
Springer at 10.18. And Tormund, 10.85.
Good. You're doing well.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're
very
doing
much.
well. Hang on. Good. So those are top 3 from that first section.
And then you understand the other set have to happen, and then one more set, and then we pick from those.
There we go. Good. So this is our second section here on the line now. Lane 2. That's Kai Lashley of St. Christopher. No one is in 3.
No.
In 4 is Jacavion Hoyt Grosvenor of St. Ambrose. Jashawn Brathwaite of Ignatius Bayer. He's in 5. In 7 is Shamir King Brewster of St. Stephen's. And in lane 8, Xavier Aline of St. Matthews.
Yeah, the boy